I don't want to ever waste anyone's time. So I want you guys to know when you download this, I want you to immediately know what you're going to get out of it so you can judge if it's worth your time or your effort. So today I'm super excited to walk you guys through the fitness hack prompt pack. The reason I created this is I know how overwhelming it can be to come in and want to get started with fitness, but it's like, okay, I got to figure out my calories, I got to figure out a workout plan, I got to figure out all these things like meal plans and stuff, and I know how overwhelming that can be. So I've tried to make it as simple as possible, but I'm sure as people start using it, people with different perspectives than mine and different experiences and stuff, I'm sure you guys are going to find things that maybe could be better. So if you're using it and you have suggestions or you have recommendations or anything like that, or things that just seem confusing about this, let me know so I can be updating it and improving it for other people. So I appreciate any feedback you guys have about it. Without any further ado, the fitness hack prompt pack. For your nutrition, we're going to figure out your BMR and your TDE, and I'll explain what those are in a minute. Then we have your calories, your macros, and a meal plan. On the workout side, it's going to be entirely tailored to you. So it's going to be focusing the muscle groups you want to see change the most. It's going to be working around your schedule, those types of things, using the equipment you have available. So if you don't have a commercial gym, but you have some equipment at home, you can let Claude, the AI engine we're going to be using, you can let it know what pieces you have available, and then it'll build your program around that. So it can take all of that into account. So even if you're just doing body weight stuff, it can come up with incredible workouts for you to help you hit your goals. And then mobility, because this is something that gets neglected about a lot of people, but then people are going hard, they're training hard, they're doing all these things, but they're saying, man, I just keep getting more and more sore. I'm starting to plateau in my movements. Maybe it's starting to irritate their body or make have joint pain or aches and pains or tightness while they're working and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to feed a prompt into there that's going to help design a mobility routine that's going to specifically target the places most affected by the program that gets built for you. So we're going to dive on in. Next slide, we have quick tips. So I'll let you guys read this on your own. I'm not going to, overcomplicate this. And we're just going to dive into the first prompt. Okay, so this first prompt here in the black, we'll kind of read over the slide really quick, and then I'll show you exactly how we're going to use it. So the point of this prompt is to get your BMR and your TDEE, okay? Now, if you already know this stuff, feel free to skip ahead. But your BMR is your basal metabolic rate, and that's how many calories you burn in a day if you did nothing but blink and breathe. So just what your body burns naturally. It's good to know because we need that to figure out our TDEE, which is how we're going to set our calories. Now that stands for total daily energy expenditure, and this simply means at the end of your day, when you're done with all of your activities, everything you do in an average day, roughly how many calories are you typically burning? And that's what we're going to kind of judge everything off of. So all we need to do when we're using this is you are just going to copy just like so. And then we are going to flip over to Claude, and all I'm going to do is paste that in there. Now, I already have my information here in the parentheses, but for you, you're going to want to swap these out. So update the number here to your age, your sex, your height, your weight. And because I'm sure someone will either wonder this or ask it, yes, this is your gender assigned at birth due to biology, okay? Now, activity level, this is just to help it understand roughly how much, how active you are. So if you're not familiar with these settings on this, just come back here and I have a little table that's typically used for the Mifflin-St. George formula. Sedentary is little to no exercise, moderate is 3 to 5 days a week of training, active you're training 6 to 7 days a week, and very active, which should be extremely few people. You either have an incredibly physically demanding job, so you're training at least twice a day, and this is typically gonna be like professional athletes, college athletes, stuff like that. So whichever one of those, and please pick the one that's the most honest and close to your day-to-day. Because if you guess this or you flub it and you pick something that's higher than what you actually do, then none of this is going to work. We need our information to be as accurate as possible, right? There's nothing to prove to anyone, just you're doing this for you. So pick the one that's most active with you. Right now I'm training 3 to 5 days a week, so that's what I'll use. Okay, so I have my prompt in there. I'm going to hit enter. And then Claude is going to start talking with me and helping me put all this stuff together. So they're going to do all the math for me. And they're gonna walk it through because I've included that into the prompt for them to explain kind of what they're doing. So if you're someone that does wanna understand this, Claude's gonna break it all down for you. It's gonna be fantastic. But if you're not, that's fine. You can just scroll on down to the bottom and it's gonna say, okay, what does these numbers mean? Your BMR is, like I said, this is the amount of calories you burn in a full day on its own. And then your TDEE, this is the one we care about. This is how many calories you're burning by the end of the day after all of your activity is done. And so for your nutrition goals, they'll recommend, hey, if you want to maintain your weight, you're going to just keep consuming the same amount of calories that you burn. If you want to lose weight, we're going to go 300 to 500 calories less than our maintenance, which is our TDEE. And then if we want to gain weight, we're going to go the other direction. Okay, so Claude's going to do an awesome job explaining all this stuff to you and giving you all the background information. Now, we don't need to do anything else from this point except go back here, go to the next slide, and as you can see at the top, it says follow up with this prompt to get your macros, meaning these prompts were all designed to be used in a progression, one after another, or a sequence. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this, we're going to copy it, and then we're just going to jump back to Claude. We're going to paste this in there. And then based on my TDEE, so here I'm going to swap this out to what mine was. Mine was 3177. So I'm just going to copy that. And then we are going to do a muscle gain plan with let's go ahead and do a 500 calorie surplus. And so I'm just, of any of the parentheses with multiple choices, I'm just removing the choices that I'm not going to use and just leaving my goals as remaining. And so please calculate my daily macronutrients targets with protein set at 1 gram per pound of body weight or 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. Now, if you're not sure about which one of these to choose, just come on back here and I've got that annotated for you. So for weight loss, we want to have about 1 gram per pound, and I can do a video about protein intake later about explaining the why on this. I just don't want this video to get too long and I want to give you guys what you came for. And if we're doing muscle gain, you're going to shoot more in that 0.5 to 0.8 grams per pound. So for me, we are just going to do, I typically prefer a higher protein intake. So for the muscle gain phase, I'll do the 0.5 to 0.8, and I'm gonna side on the side of 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. And then I'm gonna leave the rest of this here. This one is support my workouts, and then I have my activity level in here, and I already have the one I'm using. So, and then we're just gonna hit enter. So Claude's giving us our macro goals now based on what we input. And so it's gonna break it all down for me. There's a 500 calorie surplus. My total daily calories are gonna be, with my surplus, I'll now be consuming 3,677 calories every day to hit my weight goal. And so now we have our macros, right? My macros, my protein goal for the day is gonna be 176 grams of protein. My carbs are gonna be 446, and my fat is gonna be 132 for a total of 3,677 calories. This is fantastic. So I'm gonna have a ton of energy because of all these carbs. So I'm gonna be able to train really hard, and I'm gonna have a lot of energy throughout the day. This slightly higher than normal. I typically do around 30% fat. It's got it set to 32. This is great. This is gonna help me recover better. This is gonna help with my hormone production. And then this high protein is going to ensure I'm not losing any muscle mass, which I mean, I really shouldn't be anyhow. So at this point, we're just consuming enough to develop new muscle tissue. So that's fantastic. So now we can go on to the next slide, and this is gonna give us our meal plan based off of the macros we just got. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna come in here, we're gonna drop that prompt in there, and then I'm just gonna read through to make sure it still says what I want it to say. So I'm gonna get a 5-day meal plan because I wanna leave room for me and Kels to do things together on the weekend that are a little more off schedule. So I don't have any particular foods I'm hoping for, and I don't have any allergies, so I'm just gonna get rid of that portion. And then I'm just gonna hit enter and let Claude go to work. This one may take a bit longer just because there's a lot more work to be going into this to develop the meal plan. But as you can see, Claude's still gonna work pretty quick, and I am using the free version. And so you can use the paid versions, and it just allows you more communication with Claude throughout the day, like more really long messages like this, access to different engines and stuff. I haven't played with it too much. But you can see here now, I'm getting a full meal plan with a grocery list and instructions with times on how to batch prep this meal plan. What you can do is you can go in here and you can take this and obviously just make the necessary modifications when you do it the first time. And you can say, hey, look, I know what I'm gonna do for my breakfast. So I could say create a 5-day meal plan using these calories and macros. Yeah, we could just say exclude breakfast options and only show a meal plan for lunch and dinner. If you wanted to make any adjustments to this prompt, you could go in there and ask it to only give you a meal plan for lunch and dinners, or just breakfast and dinners, or anything like that. Whatever you need, adjust the prompts to be as specific as you need it to be, and Claude will make it happen. And then you can see here, even came back after making the full meal plan with cooking guide, and just all the way in there. Super, super in-depth, really cool. Then comes by and kind of gives me a synopsis of everything they offered me and asks if they want any adjustments or anything they'd like me to change. So feel free to do that. So now that I have my meal plan, we're gonna go and ask Claude to help us design a workout. Paste that in there. So I want a 5-day full body training plan that puts a 20% additional attention on my core, my lats, and my hamstrings. If you want to focus other things like your glutes and your biceps and anything else, just adjust that. And it doesn't have to be 3, it could be 1 extra thing, it could be 2 extra things. I wouldn't do more than 3 though. That'd probably be the max I would ask for additional focus, so that my movements don't become too convoluted. And I asked that Claude, he, she, it, whatever, have no movements be repeated through my program. So I don't want a bunch of redundant movements. And then I asked them to include these types of equipment. Dumbbell, barbell, machines, and cables. Those are just things I enjoy the most. You can also just say, hey, I'm using a commercial gym, and they'll just kind of throw everything in there. And then if you want them to exclude specific things, just ask. For this example, I just put no body weight movements. And if you have say knee problems or anything like that, you can just say, hey, exclude movements that are gonna put a heavy load on my knee joint or my shoulder or anything like that. If you have anything you want to avoid or movements you just really, really hate doing, you can throw lunges in there just for an example, but you can ask it to exclude anything. And then I made sure to say that I wanted my total workout time to last me no longer than 1 hour and 15 minutes. And when they do this stuff, you can just download, you can save or copy, you can just copy these over to a Word document, or you can just download them and print them out, do whatever. And then when you come back, once you've made an account with Claude, you can come back and open up any of your chats with Claude, and all of this will be there as well. So you can always go back to conversations and look through stuff. So now Claude is putting together a 5-day training program for me. And what I'm gonna do is, while he's doing that, whatever, you know what I mean. I'm gonna jump over to one of the last prompt, and I'm gonna take this, and it says to create a mobility routine that focuses on improving flexibility and range of motion for the areas of my body most affected by this training program, and ensure that it gets completed within 10 minutes. And once Claude is done working on this, I'll drop that in there, but I can go ahead and drop it, and then I'll just, I guess I didn't copy it. Go back, do that. Yeah, highlighted it, but I didn't copy it. Okay, so Claude just finished my program, so I can look that over. And you can see here they're giving me a synopsis of what they built for me, and I can just kind of take a glance through here. And you can see they've got the exercise, what equipment it needs, how many sets, what's your rep range, what's your rest, and then any notes to focus on. Yeah, Claude does a phenomenal job at this, and this is just kind of highlighting why I wanted to do this in the first place. And it's just, we're in a place in our lives where technology can do incredible things, and so there's no reason for us to not find a way to move forward in our life, no matter what the goal is, because we have these incredible tools that can make the barrier to entry so low. And that's what we're trying to do today, is just make this as simple as possible. So now I'm going to add the last bit and just say, hey, can you make me a mobility routine based on the training program you just built for me? And they're going to do that. And see, you can see they didn't even need to make a big separate document here. They just threw it right in here for us. And with that, we will have found our calories. We will have then taken those calories and put them into a meal plan. We'll have taken that meal plan, or we got in our macros, sorry. We got in our calories, and then from those calories, we figured out our macro goals, our macronutrient goals, and then we had a grocery list and meal plan designed with all of that information in mind. And then we had a workout program built, and now we have a mobility routine built. So you have everything you need. I have a little glossary here at the back of the document if you're just curious about what some of these terminologies meant. And then just good luck. You know, like I said at the beginning, this is everything we're gonna walk away with. You have everything you need to go get moving and get started. Obviously, if you guys have any questions, I'm always happy to answer them. You can either message me on social media or email me, whatever's easiest for you. I'm happy to help. Hopefully this is useful for you guys, and enjoy.